Welcome to the session of Chapter 7, that is Directing. Let me give you an outline as to what we are going to cover in this session. We'll try to understand the meaning of directing, the characteristics and importance of directing, principles of directing, managerial function. And a manager needs to use various ways to lead, to motivate, and to inspire the subordinates and communicate with them suitably. Now, directing, of course, it gives a meaning. It means giving an instruction and guiding people in doing the work. And directing is done to achieve some of the predetermined objective. When we say directing, it refers to the process of instructing, guiding, counseling, motivating, and leading the people in the organization to achieve its objective. It is very well said that the proper direction to the employee can lead to smooth functioning of management and the organization. So the directing has to be, or the direction which is given to the employee has to be very clear. And for that, we need to have 3 R's, which I have already explained you earlier. That is right person at the right place at the right time. Now let's understand that what are the features or characteristics of directing. Firstly, directing helps you to initiate the action. As I had mentioned that it is a key managerial function, every manager has to perform this function along with planning, organizing, staffing, controlling while discharging his duties in the organization. So it's very important that all the directions which are given by the manager to its subordinate has to be apt. There should not be any miscommunication or confusion while giving direction to the subordinates. Directing takes place at every level of management. That is, every manager and every person or every employee working in an organization, right from the top executive to the supervisor, they all perform the function of directing. And the directing takes place whenever there is a superior subordinate relationship and whenever this relationship is existing in an organization. Like, let's say, for example, the managing director of the company would give direction to the various departmental heads, and the various departmental heads would give the direction to their subordinates who are at the executive level or who are at the supervisor level. Now, in turn, these supervisors are giving instruction to the workers or foremen. So at every level, we can see that there is existing relation, which is that is of superior and subordinate. Thirdly, directing is a continuous process, which means that it takes place throughout the life of the organization, irrespective of people occupying the managerial position. We cannot say that if one task is over, now we don't need to give any direction. Direction is a continuous process which every manager or which every supervisor has to give to the subordinates. And as I said, that directing flows from top to bottom, which means the flow of communication, the flow of direction is from top management to the lower management. And this is through organizational hierarchy. Let's understand why directing is important. Directing helps to initiate action. If a supervisor guides his subordinates and clarifies his doubts in performing a task, then the subordinate is very clear with as to what he is expected to do. It will help the worker to achieve the work targets which are given to him. And directing also integrates employees' effort. Like, let's say a manager with a good leadership ability will be in a position to convince the employee working under him that individual efforts and team effort will lead to achievement of the organizational goal. This is very much, practically takes place in the real professional life, where a manager constantly motivates, constantly guides and leads his team and convinces them to work more efficiently and effectively. So along with the individual interest, even the organizational goals could be achieved smoothly. Thirdly, directing is important because it guides the employee. A good leader can always identify the potential of his employee and motivate them to extract work up to their full potential. And that is why during the recruitment process, the 3 R's, as I said, is very important. That is right person at the right place at the right time. Because when you employ the right person at the right place and at the right time, according to his efficiency, skills, ability, knowledge, experience, background, all these things would help him to work more efficiently and effectively. So a good leader should always identify the potential, the skill of the subordinate and allocate the work accordingly. Now, directing also facilitates change or changes. Effective directing through motivation, through proper communication and good leadership helps to reduce the resistance and develop required cooperation in introducing changes in the organization. Like, let's say, for example, if any of the employee is not accepting the changes in the policies which are made by the top management, manager or a good leader can convince, motivate, and make the individual employee or subordinates understand as to why these changes in the policies are needed. And once he's able to convince these employees to accept the policies, and it is for the betterment of their future or which is of their individual interest, then it helps them to work more cordially. Another importance of directing is that it brings stability and balance. Now, of course, cooperation and commitment among the people helps to achieve a balance among the various groups, activities, and departments. So it's very important that manager has to constantly motivate, encourage, and guide and direct his subordinates so that there is a stability, there is a loyalty in the organization. Let's understand the principles of directing. Directing, one of the major principle is that maximum individual contribution. Now, which means it should bring out the untapped energies of the employees for the efficiency of the organization. Directing technique must help every individual in the organization to contribute to his maximum potential for achievement. Like, let's say, for example, a good motivational plan with a suitable monetary and non-monetary rewards can really help to bring out the maximum out of the subordinates or employees. Now, when we talk about monetary and non-monetary rewards, it could be either financial or non-financial, like giving them promotion, giving them hike in their salary, or when we talk about non-monetary rewards, that is recognition, giving the status, the authority, the responsibility, all these can bring out the maximum out of the individual towards the contribution of organizational goal. The second principle of directing is harmony of objective. Good directing should provide harmony by convincing that employee rewards and work efficiency are complementary to each other. Now, here comes the role of a manager or a leader who has to convince the employee that he would be rewarded and he would be recognized with various position or promotion only when they work hard towards the company, as both go hand in hand. The third principle is unity of command. We have studied about this principle in the second chapter also, and this is one of the major principle of directing, that there has to be one boss for one employee. Because if instructions are received from more than one, it can create confusion and conflict and disorder in the organization. And another thing is appropriateness of direction technique. So any technique which is adopted by the manager, be it motivational or be it leadership technique, it should be used while directing the people based on the subordinate needs, on the basis of their capabilities, attitude, and other situational variables. When we talk about managerial communication, the communication among the various superior subordinate relationship has to be very clear. There should not be any miscommunication among any level of the management. So effective managerial communication across all the level in the organization makes the direction effective. And directing should convey clear instructions to create total understanding to subordinates. So manager should all ensure that subordinate understands the instructions very clearly and there is no confusion. The another important principle is use of informal organization. A manager should realize that informal groups or organization do exist within every formal organization. Now, this informal organization would help him to spot and make use of such organization for effective directing. When we talk about leadership, as I said, that the role of a leader is not to control or give orders, but the quality of a good leader is to lead while directing the subordinates. So manager should exercise good leadership as it can influence the subordinates positively without causing dissatisfaction among them. Like let's say, for example, if the leader of your team is controlling you and not exactly leading you, he's trying to be your boss, but a quality of a good leader is that he moves ahead along with his team, motivating them, leading them. And another important principle is follow through, that is, follow up or feedback. It's just not enough to give an order or command or direction. A good manager should always take the follow up action or always monitor as to whatever task has been assigned to the various subordinates or employee are implemented according to the set standard or not. So it's very important to monitor and supervise whether the actual performance is matching with the set standard performance or not. So if necessary, suitable modification should be made in the directions according to the need. I hope now you're clear with all the characteristics, features, and principles of directing. Thank you.